how do you prioritize what you do in your day, and what does your day even look like?
That's a good question. First of all, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to do this. I really, my day is really chaotic. There's no 2 days that are the same. And I kind of like it that way because there'll be days that I'm, out at meetings, doing like boss lady stuff, days I'm on shoot, which I really enjoy doing. Although I hate the 2 hours of hair and makeup I have to do every time. And then there'll be days I'm sitting like in my pajamas, even more now in the lockdown, just writing on my sofa. So to answer your question on how I manage, I actually luckily have an amazing life manager. She was my assistant. Now she manages me, Yansha, who I think has been coordinating with you. And the rule is if it's not in my Google Calendar, it's not going to happen. So my Google Calendar looks like a bloodbath on most days. It's like something every 20 minutes. So that's kind of how I manage. But I think I've really learned how to be a good multitasker. But if you ask my friends, I have like 100 tabs open on my laptop at any given time. So it's probably not the most efficient way, but it is my way and it seems to work for me.
That's awesome. And I love the idea of a life manager. I haven't heard that before.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. So I think what I've realized more and more, especially in my line of work, is you need someone that really knows you well enough to know, like she can tell what my mood is off. She knows when I'm going to be like Devil Wears Prada or when I'm just having a chill day or I just want to recover after a big weekend. So I think that's really something everybody needs. I highly recommend having someone like that, but it's not an easy job. I think very few people can handle that kind of high pressure because I'm always sending her 100 things to remember for me. So I really don't know how she does it, but one day I'm going to interview her and ask her what it's like.
That is awesome. And yeah, she's completely on top of it. But so you have all these things going on, right? And it's on your Google Calendar and it's filled up every single day. And I'm interested by the fact that you said 20-minute increments too. But yeah. How do you even decide on that day that I'm going to do a shoot today? I'm going to do blogging today. Where does that prioritization come in?
So I actually learned a lot in the lockdown when I used to kind of be very ad hoc about stuff, but I decided that I was going to learn some new skills in the lockdown. One, because suddenly everybody was leaving the lockdown having like become this professional, fitness freak or cook or something. I was like, I need to do something. So I actually did a whole level of Spanish and I started doing yoga. And that actually forced me to put in a blocked hour 4 times a week for something. And I was like, hang on, this is great. I should do this for everything. So a lot of times shoots are dependent on shoot days and celebrities. So I have that in my calendar. Then there'll be certain days that I have set meetings. So every Monday I meet with my main A team to discuss content and what they need from each other. And I have all sorts of management meetings. Now I've started blocking in time because I'm writing my second book and I'm just not finishing it. So now I have 4 hours blocked out in a week to write. But Yansha always makes fun of me because I seem to just gloss over that one thing because I can get away with it. And on this book I've been writing now for a year, so I really need to finish it. But ironically, what happened is I started writing it last year, and I decided to put like a small footnote about the, the pandemic because it had just started. And I'm like, oh, we're going to be in lockdown for 3 weeks. Cut to, I'm like, I need to rewrite my entire book now because of this. So now what I do is I do schedule stuff. A lot of things will come up where, I have to plan multiple interviews. Like Women's Day is a great example. There's so much happening that day. So literally it's spaced out between key things that need to happen. Today I've actually pre-recorded a bunch of stuff. So a lot of it for me is also, if there's a certain day I'm getting hair and makeup, I'll try to knock off like 10 different things. Otherwise it used to be like a daily thing. And I realized I'm not a morning person at all. So my day usually actually only starts around 11 a.m. and then I'll work late.
So that's interesting. What are you doing before 11 a.m. to get yourself going?
I'm asleep. Nowadays, I generally just roll out of bed around 10. It's really bad. I know there's certain days when I have to shoot and I'll have to get up at 6 and go somewhere, which is like my worst nightmare. But sometimes I'll get up early. My problem is like I stay up late. So by the time I finish my work, it'll be 9 or 10. And then I want to unwind. So I'll start watching a show or I'll start reading or something. And then it's already 1. And then, you get into that one more episode and that's it. Suddenly it's like 4 a.m. So I'm trying to break that habit, but it's not easy. So I think that's kind of the reason. But I think I'm going to try to get back in a schedule where I'm, up by 8 or 9. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'll try.
But that's honestly awesome because you will constantly hear, what we call, I guess, overachievers say, you got to get up at 5 a.m. every single day.
Yeah.
Sacrifice sleep. I feel like, on the days where you have shit sleep, you perform so much worse. And I guess every meeting that you
Yeah.
have is worse. What do you think about sleep?
Yeah, I think sleep is really important. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ariana Huffington, and she's written this whole thing about, the sleep revolution. And, I met, slipping my name right now, who, wrote the 5 a.m. Club. And I really want to be able to be someone who does all those things. But I think people just function at different times. Some people are at their optimum between, like for me, I think probably like 3 p.m. onwards, I'm really on point. I can get a lot of stuff done, like right after lunch. So I think it's, there's no hard and fast rule. I think it's everyone to themselves. What works for you may not work for someone else. I don't think you can force yourself to become a morning person. I have tried and it really doesn't work. So I wouldn't beat myself up. It doesn't mean you can't be a overachiever if you don't wake up early.
Right. And the other question I have is that since you have back-to-back meetings, right, especially talking to people, moving
Yeah.
around wherever you're going for shoots, how do you keep the energy up? Because everything I've seen you in, I've been actually following your Instagram lives, you're getting on so many different interviews with so many different people, and you're always high energy. How are you doing that?
It's so funny. Everyone will say it's Red Bull, but I don't drink Red Bull through the day. I think it's really, I guess it's just my personality to speak that way. I speak quickly, I speak high energy. And I think that when I am doing something, I try to give it my full attention. I mean, I feel like a lot of times I am multitasking, but I think when I'm doing interviews and I'm talking to someone, I'm deeply engaged. And I think that's just a personality trait that probably comes out. I also feel like it makes such a big difference when you're talking to someone if you're it's body language and how you're responding, if you're smiling and all those things that I feel make such a big difference to the other person. So I think that just is something that's on autopilot for me.
Thank you so much for watching. That was a short clip from my full interview, which you can check out here. It'll also be the first link in the description box below. I think you're gonna love it. And also, dude, if you liked this clip, I think you should go ahead and subscribe, because there's gonna be a whole lot more where that came from. Thank you so much, and see y'all in the next one.